Hey everybody! In honor of Earth Day this week, we are going to read The Lorax together. The Lorax is by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing except for old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in that grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood as long as he could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. And what was the Lorax, and why was it there, and why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives here. Ask him, he knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum cold under the roof, where he makes his old clothes out of mufford moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells of the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, and he makes the most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. And he hides what you paid him away in his snoove, his strange little hole on his grooveless glove. And he grunts, I will call you by whisper-mophone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Sloop. Down sloops the whisper-mophone to your ear as the old Onceler whispers, they're not very clear, since they have come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. In the days where the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swami swans rang out in space, one morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees lived the Barbaloots, frisking about in their Barbaloot suits, as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the tripolus pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. See the fish? But those trees, oh, those trees, all my life I'd been searching for such trees as these. The touch of their tuft was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping joy in my heart. I knew just what to do, and I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took off the soft tuft, and I knitted a thneed. The instant I finished, I heard a gazump. I looked, and I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree that I had chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I'm not sure that I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. And I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What is this thing that you're making out of my truffle tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. It has other uses far beyond that. You can use it for carpet, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or a cover for a bicycle seat. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. No one on earth would buy that fool thneed. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute, a chap came along. And he thought that that thneed I had knitted was great, and he happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor silly guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, said the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Hush, hush, if you please. I rushed across the room, and in no time at all, I built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called on my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the road to North Nitch, turn left at Weehawken, and a sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting threads, just as busy as bees, and the sound of the chopping was of truffula trees. Look at all the trees he's chopping down. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was just too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker and whacked off 4 truffula trees in one smacker. We were making threads 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week, he knocked on my office door. He snapped, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees, which you seem to be chopping just as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots, and happily living, they ate truffle of fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffle of fruit to go around. And my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have no food in their tummies. Poor guys. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They have no food. I hope that they find some they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm. I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads. Of the thneeds I shipped out, I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering and selling more thneeds, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes, and that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax. He coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffed and he snargled and sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a querulous croak. Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swami swams, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here. I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape all the smog you've smogged up around here. What's more, said the Lorax, and his dander was up, let me say a few words about the gluppity glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity glup and sloppity slop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty Onceler man, you. You're glubbing the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk with their fins and they'll get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad, and I yelled at the Lorax, "Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you I intend to go on just doing what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering more truffle trees into thneeds, which everyone needs." And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. And from outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffle tree of them all. No more trees, no more thneeds, no more work to be done. So in no time, my aunts and uncles and everyone, they all waved goodbye and they jumped into their cars and they drove away under the smog-smuggered stars. And now all that's left beneath the bad-smelling sky is a big empty factory, the Lorax and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just a very sad, sad backwards glance, and he lifted himself up by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word: unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. But that was long, long ago, and each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, said the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, catch, says the Onceler, and he let something fall. It's a truffle seed, the last one of all. You are in charge of the last of the truffle seeds, and truffle seeds and trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffle, treat it with care, give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack, and then the Lorax and all of his friends just might come back. The end. I hope you get outside this week and you do something wonderful for the earth. See you later.